You're at Thanksgiving and someone asks where you're from. You say America. They say no. Where are you really from? And something in you just deflates. But then you go to India and your cousins call you the American one. Your relatives speak to you slowly, like you might not understand. Your grandmother looks at you like she's trying to find something familiar, and something in you deflates again. You're not from here. You're not from there. So where exactly are you from? This is the question nobody prepared you for. Your parents came here and built something. They chose this country. They had a home to leave, a language they dreamed in, a place they belonged to, even if they left it. You never got that. You were born into the in-between, too American for your family, too Indian for your friends, knowing the festivals but not really knowing what they mean, saying you're Hindu because your parents are, but not being totally sure what that means either. So you build yourself out of pieces, a little of this culture, a little of that one. You learn to code switch, Indian at home, American everywhere else. You get good at it, dangerously good. But there's a cost to performing yourself all the time, because somewhere underneath all that switching, you stop knowing which version was actually you. There is a warrior in the Bhagavad Gita who knows exactly this feeling. Arjuna stands on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. On one side, his family, his teachers, people he grew up with. On the other side, the people he's supposed to be fighting for. He belongs to both sides, and because of that, he feels like he belongs to neither. He tells Krishna, I don't know who I am in this moment. I don't know which side of myself is real. This is not a military crisis. This is an identity crisis, written down 5,000 years ago for you. Here's what Krishna says. And it's not what you'd expect. He doesn't tell Arjuna to pick a side. He doesn't say choose your family or choose yourself. Choose your roots or choose your future. He says, you are asking the wrong question. The question, where do I belong, assumes that belonging is something outside of you, that it's a place, a community, a culture, something you find or earn or perform well enough to receive. Krishna says the self, the Atman, is not something that needs to belong anywhere. It already is. It doesn't need a country to validate it. It doesn't need a culture to complete it. The thing underneath all your code switching, the thing that watches you perform and knows it's a performance, that's the real you, and it was never homeless. Now, I'm not saying culture doesn't matter. I'm not saying roots don't matter. What I'm saying is, you've been trying to solve a belonging problem from the outside in, find the right group, fit the right mold, figure out which version of yourself to lead with. The Gita flips it completely. When you know who you are at the level of the Atman, the belonging question doesn't disappear, but it stops being desperate. You can be in a room full of people who don't look like you and not feel erased. You can visit India and not feel like a fraud. You can say you're Hindu without needing to defend it or explain it away. Not because you finally figured out which box to tick, but because you stopped needing a box. The in-between is not a problem to solve. It never was. You were given something most people never get. 2 worlds, 2 languages, 2 ways of seeing. The Gita doesn't ask you to collapse that into one. It asks you to find the part of you that was whole before the question was ever asked.